Jim the Ape want proof. Hello again, humans. It is I, Jim the Ape, and today I am joined by my fellow non-human anti-SJW YouTuber. She's an adorable little furball, but her teeth can shred your face, and that's why they call her Otter Face.
Hello there, I am Otterface, bow down and all that. Thanks for letting me on your channel. The Ape-Otter Alliance is certainly in a good place right now.
Welcome, Otter. Now, we're planning on perhaps making another video discussing an interspecies coalition to overthrow the humans, but for now, let's just have some fun responding to one of the many audiovisual abominations that is a video by the Young Turks.
Oh, so we're going to be attacking the Young Turks, that great old buffalo, and that girl who swears a lot and fat shames and then turns around and says fat shame is bad. Oh, great. I love these guys. I could kiss their aggressiveness. It's so perfect. If it wasn't so hideously cancerous at the same time.
Quite honestly, I'm amazed it's taken me this long to tackle one of their videos. But what better way to do it than with some backup? And I assure you, just between the two of us, we have more intelligence, journalistic integrity, and sex appeal than Chunk and Banana combined. Also less ideological bias. Let's begin.
Hell yeah, not Harambe. Let's do this.
Paul Ryan posted something on Instagram that went insanely viral today.
Oh dear, did he break federal law? Did he pay interns to edit his Wikipedia page? Did he murder someone and this is him admitting it for all the world to see? Did he talk about the fact that he's a cis white male? Because he knows he has to check his privilege. Because he's a cis white male, he'll know he'll get away with it, right? Did he post it accidentally to his Instagram, or did some brave whistleblower hack into his Instagram and then post it for the world to see?
And it featured a huge group of congressional aides right behind him as he took a selfie.
Oh well, that's a terrible crime. I mean, he's a Republican daring to take a selfie. Jesus, when will this madness end? What a bastard.
Now the reason why he went viral, in my opinion, is pretty obvious, but let's put the picture up.
It's very obvious to you because you're the type of person who wants it to be about race. You really, really want this to be about race, don't you? You believe that the Republican Party is this club of rabid racists, so when you see a room full of white people in an Instagram photo, you instantly cry racism because you are a bigot towards Republicans. Newsflash, Anna. Just because those people are all white, although it's debatable because it may not show the entire room, that does not therefore equal racism. If this was a black Democrat taking a selfie full of black interns and a bunch of people said, Democrats so black, you would instantly say that hashtag was racist. Fuck you, mate. Seriously.
And actually we don't have the picture for you guys, but we'll put it up later.
Can't put up the picture because you're too incompetent to have your shit prepared before you start talking? No problem. Just fix it in post. That's what all the edgy, non-mainstream news shows do these days, isn't it?
Come on, Young Turks. You're usually right there and prepared to race bait, and you don't have the subject of your video right there for everyone? Jeez. I thought you'd be so excited to go on another one of your fuck white people segments, and have all the pictures and prep ready to go.
So, the picture basically has, I don't know, it looks like 100 congressional aides, and almost every single one of them is white.
Oh well, shit. Fuck. That's terrible. I mean, yuck, icky white, disgusting white people. Oh god, I think I'm gonna vomit. Why can't white people just fuck off? I mean, fuck white people. Am I right, Jenk? Right.
There's some speculation that there's a black gentleman all the way at the back, but we don't know if he's actually black or if there's some sort of shadow or something. It's that unclear.
Are they gonna make a blacks at the back of the bus reference? Is this what this bit is? Because they obviously don't know. They can't confirm for sure. So I'm guessing this is gonna be one of those regressive, this is what happened in the past and it also happens now things, and you're gonna sort of link it up to that or something like that. That's typically what they do. Because, you know, the past is also the present, apparently.
Okay, since you dumbasses over at TYT are obviously not competent enough to have actually put the picture up, I'm going to help you. Because I do my stuff pre-recorded and edited just for this kind of presentation. And of course, I have the image. Here it is in all its mundanity and who the fuck caresness. And after looking at it only for about 30 seconds, before almost being bored to death, I found 3 non-white people in the picture.
Ape, shh. Don't actually say that. That ruins the all Republicans are white racists narrative.
There's an Asian guy on the left leaning into the shot.
Hey, that's obviously a case of internalized racism there. Oh god, my aggressive mind is controlling me.
And there's another one in the third row from the front and 4 seats from the left. And there's a woman who appears to be of Indian or Middle Eastern descent on the right side of the picture, sitting next to a blonde in a floral print top.
Internalized racism, duh, I've explained this.
But this is just a very superficial argument to your claims of racism, since it only proves that the room was not 100% Caucasian at the time the picture was taken. I'll get into more substantive arguments as the video goes on.
Are you saying that this isn't the meetup for the local KKK? Abe, I think we need you to get some therapy. Right, hold my hand, and chant with me. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We must love and protect one another.
So plus he's in the back.
Fuck, yeah, Jenks, yes men, John actually did it. He made a reference to blacks in the past sitting at the back of the bus. But shut up, John, Jenks about to talk, so shut up and nod your head at everything he says.
No, I having looked at the picture for a long time, because we're going to do this story, I'm like, is this a real story? And, like, first of all, it's jarring because that's not America.
Jenk, imagine if this was Bill O'Reilly saying this about a picture of black people and then said that's not America. You would cry racism, Jenk, in your, buffalo mating cry. But I guess it's okay to say that because, I know, white people. The message in the photograph he took wasn't that this is America. In fact, if you actually look at the caption on his Instagram page, it says, I think this sets a record for the most number of Capitol Hill interns in a single selfie. # speaker selfie. I wasn't at the session, however, this might have been a fun little game where everyone tried to get into the picture, and obviously not everyone will be able to get into the photograph, and this is just how it turned out.
When I walk around, and maybe everybody's got a different perception.
Yeah, but fuck their perception. However, the way you sort of paused and didn't know what to say for a second, it made me think, if I can predict anything, it made me think that, Jenk, you realize how this is going to look. I think you believe that you can be racist towards white people, and I think you realize what you are doing right now. And you are doing exactly that. However, you're probably thinking that you may as well roll with it to appeal to your aggressive audience who only think that it's only racism when it's towards non-white people.
And it, of course, depends on where you live. But I live in LA, so...
Yeah, it depends on where you live, but it's more important that I live in LA because of reasons.
Yeah.
There's blacks, Latinos, Asians, everywhere. So just seeing one race in a picture like that...
Jenk, the people who make such a big deal about race are often the racists. I've said this so many times, but if this was a bunch of Republicans making such a big deal about race, then you would come down on them like a ton of bricks and scry, racist, of course!
He probably weighs a ton of bricks, the fat fuck. Get off the stage, you fat fuck! Ain't that right, Anna?
That I was like, wow, did they try to make it all white? And I'm sure they didn't.
Okay, Jenk, leave it there. They didn't. They probably didn't. There probably was no intention to make it all white. Why the hell would a politician who wants to keep his career, why would he have that intention and then put it on the internet for the world to see? Why would any politician do that? Most likely the intention was to get as many people into the picture as possible in a funny little selfie. The only people making it about race, Jenk, is you. You and your company and regressives like you. You've just defeated the argument of your giant video, which was, this is against black people. And it's to show how racist the Republican Party is.
Funny you should ask that, Chunk, because I'm looking all around you at the people you've hired to be your co-hosts, and guess what? Every single last one of them is white!
Yeah, but hey, it's okay when they do it. These are all white allies. Some are actually self-proclaimed social justice warriors, so they can do that. They don't have to do the work, it's everyone else who has to do it. Duh.
So I have to ask you, Chunk, did you try to make your hip, alternative, so not mainstream news program all white?
But which is worse.
So it's worse if it's not intentional? Interesting. That raises the stakes of the question I just asked you quite considerably. So I ask again, did you try to hire only white co-hosts, Chunk?
Because all the interns they're hiring on the Republican side, apparently almost all of them are entirely white.
Doesn't that very statement defeat the arguments of GOP so white? If this was the case of the GOP was this vicious white supremacist group, then I guess if I go over to where you can apply for Ryan's internship, or any Republican internship, it'll say blacks need not apply, right? Right, Jenk? Right?
Right.
Which means no outreach, no effort to bring in diversity, etc.
How do you know that, Jink? How do you know that? I actually went over to where you can look at the application for an internship with Paul Ryan, and nowhere did I see only white people allowed. It didn't even mention race. It's that you would know, that you normally see on an application form, and I suppose you might see that and think, haha, gotcha. However, there are plenty of regressives who think that race should be eliminated from application forms so that people can be judged entirely on their experience. And thinking about it, the fact that race doesn't even come up on the application shows that race didn't even matter to them, that it wasn't even a factor in their or application process, and that it was mere coincidence that a good majority of them turned out to be white people.
And as I looked at that picture, I was like, maybe one of the women in the corner might be a Latino. Maybe one of the girls in the front might be Asian. I'm stretching. Here.
Whoa now, don't strain yourself, Chunk. You might pull something. And we all know your fat ass isn't used to exercise, right? Right?
Isn't the fact that he has to stretch kind of telling? If this was an obvious caught you in the middle of the act moment, then surely you wouldn't really have to stretch.
Crazy.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. There's a great shot of me looking at it. I mean, I don't see it, man. Who's the one they think might be black?
Oh, right there. No, there's one black guy.
There's a black. I think
He's
that's
in like the fourth to last row.
Yeah, I think that might be a black woman.
As fascinating as it is to watch Ben Mankiewicz staring at a tablet screen, and by fascinating I mean boring, I have a very simple counter-argument to make. If this matters so much, then how come the Young Turks didn't give a shit when the supposedly progressive Huffington Post shared a picture of their all-female newsroom, which was also majority white? Now, I'll be honest, I don't give half a shit about either case. Neither has any effect on my life, and as long as equal opportunities are available for those who earn them, I'm good. But it just shows the hypocrisy that the Young Turks are only outraged when their political opponents, the Republicans, aren't diverse enough.
It's hard to tell because of the photo.
It's hard to tell. It's a very small photo.
Yeah, it is a small picture, John. So why should you assume that all the people in there are white, like in that room? I hate to defend the Republicans, but you're being a little unfair.
Right, and these are all what? These are all Republican, like the
These are Republican
Speaker's
aides.
office.
Yeah. And
Well,
so,
first of all, they got a lot of interns.
So I'm going to read you a few of the different responses on Twitter. There was a trending hashtag called GOP So White, playing off of Oscars So White.
And another great hashtag that, if it were to become successful, is going to force one hard question into the minds of black filmmakers and actors and crew. Am I going to get this award because I deserved it? Or am I going to get this award simply because I'm black and they want to look good?
No shit, banana. BANANAS. Also, in case you couldn't tell, there was a hashtag HuffPo So White, which was also a play on the same hashtag. See, I say that somewhat sarcastically because I don't think my audience is retarded. And wow, reading tweets? What a journalistic powerhouse! Your audience has access to the internet and can just look up those tweets themselves, right?
Yeah, but obviously that's because their audiences are oppressed and they're actually not allowed to use Twitter because of it. And these hashtags are only made by virtue signaling white people.
But there's a more serious point to make about this. Cenk, you talked about the outreach a little bit, and I think the outreach to minority communities is really important.
Are you seriously suggesting that Republicans do not get involved in outreach programs? I guess those black, Asian, and Hispanic Republicans just popped out of nowhere, did they?
But this kind of shows that there's no need in their minds to reach out to these communities or to understand them.
Banana.
Can you repeat that?
Yes. Banana.
Where the hell are you getting that? Just because there's a picture with a majority white people means that Republicans aren't reaching out to any other races and don't want to understand them? Banana, you're a stone's throw away from suggesting that Republicans are racist by default. That's kind of the logical extension of what you're saying. And to that, I would say before you try to brush the dirt off of someone else's face, you might want to clean the shit stains off of yours. The ones you got by having your head up your own ass.
And so we talk about Congress, for instance, and how there's a lack of diversity there. Not just with, the black community or Hispanics, but also with women.
But there are still minorities and women in Congress. In fact, you are definitely going to be getting a female president by the end of the year who is going to be sitting right at the top of Congress. Just because there are more of a certain demographic in a space doesn't equal racism or sexism or whatever.
Who votes for them, Anna? Who elects them into office? Is it only white men who have the right to vote? Oh, I forgot. Women wouldn't have ever gotten the right to vote if it wasn't for feminism. In other news, the slaves would have never been freed if it wasn't for the existence of stovepipe hats. Makes about as much sense.
Seriously, people like the Young Turks, progressive like them, actually give people a reason to stop women from being able to vote. Because it seems like women are just not voting in the right way. They're not voting for the people that they want. They're really just wasting their votes, which is quite insulting to women, because it would imply that women are so dumb that they will just vote against their own self-interest, and they need someone to just hold their little hand and direct them to where they should be voting. The only people who make women look like idiots are aggressives like you, Young Turks.
Right? And then you think, all right, well, we're progressing, we're moving forward in society.
And by the tone of your voice, are you suggesting that we actually aren't? Because compared to, back in the days of Jim Crow, before the women's rights movement, and during the height of slavery, I say your country has progressed a lot since then,
And you're going to have more and more young people from different diverse backgrounds wanting to be interns, wanting to, get elected into office, wanting to be part of politics. And you look at this picture and it shows you that at least with one party, there isn't going to be much change.
Definition, please.
A yellow fruit. Also, a kind of pudding. A delicious pudding.
Gee, I wonder what party she's talking about. Granted, I don't like political partisan bullshit either way, and I think you can have opinions without belonging to a special club. Also, you don't have to worship a political candidate like a cult of personality and talk shit to anyone who supports any other candidate, but that's besides the point. What do you think, Otter? Which party, if any, does the Ottoman Empire support?
Well, I'm always going to support the Ottoman Empire power party, but if I had to choose, I'd probably go for the libertarian option if I'm able to vote for America. I'd probably vote for Gary Johnson, although I did see the Skag 3 video, and it's kind of convinced me to, back away from it. Although, if he was out of the picture, I guess, it would probably, and if it was between, Hillary and Trump all the way. Absolutely. I wouldn't touch that one with a 10-foot barge pole.
The newer generations are just as white as the older generation.
Anna, there is no white purity test when it comes to the application process for the internship at the office of Senator Paul Ryan. The fact that they don't even include race in their applications makes me think that they probably don't even give a fuck about the race of the intern to begin with.
Whiter. Because the rhetoric has gotten worse. When we mentioned Bob Dole, who's here. Bob Dole picked as his running mate Jack Kemp. Jack Kemp was probably because he was a professional football player and had black guys prevented him from being hit hard every time, and recognized the value of a team, and some members of those team are black and some are white, and they're all teammates. And so Jack Kemp made a legitimate effort for the Republicans to reach out to minorities, and it failed miserably. And now we are at a time when, it's not just the policies, Anna, it's the rhetoric. When you get Steve Loomis of the Cleveland Police Association, and you get Donald Trump criticizing not Obama's policies or Obamacare, which are legitimate political things to criticize, but criticizing the manner in which suggesting that he has made it open season for blacks to kill cops.
If anyone's saying that, it's Black Lives Matter. If not directly, then at least suggesting it through their chants of pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon.
No, that's taken out of context. They were actually talking about a nice Labor Day picnic.
Or, what do we want? Dead cops. When do we want it? Now. As much as I advocate for freedom of speech, it's hard to deny that such explicitly violent rhetoric leads some people to using that as a motivation to commit violent actions, like what happened in Dallas.
this is hideous moments of rhetoric that we're going to build a wall, we're going to make Mexico pay for it, we're going to keep Muslims out. Everybody dark and different is different, not to be accepted. To say nothing of the Republican nominee being the cheerleader starting in 2011 for the hideous and just outwardly racist birther movement.
The birther movement started in the year 211? I thought that shit was about Obama's birth certificate, but he wasn't even alive in 211. Illuminator confirmed!
Well, fuck, I've got my tinfoil hat on.
I mean, and then retweeting stuff from Klan members and retweeting stuff from neo-Nazi groups, and then having the audacity to pretend that that wasn't the case. If you do this long enough, if you dog whistle long enough, if you say you're different and not like us and not part of America, and you say it again and again and again in ways that are becoming increasingly less subtle, but more overt, here's what's not going to happen. No black guys, no black women are going to say, I'd like to be an intern in Speaker Ryan's office, because they're going to sense this is a hostile place.
And who are you to say that? Seriously, how do you know they're going to how do you know that they're going to feel that hostility? Your soft bigotry of low expectation racism is really showing there, Young Turks.
Notice how most of that tirade wasn't even talking about Paul Ryan specifically, but talking about other Republicans, extreme fringe groups, and of course Donald Trump, who is in his own category, because how do you even classify such a strange orange man? Anyway, so he goes on and on and on about what he perceives to be all this racism and xenophobia in the Republican Party, and he doesn't specifically address the politician whose interns are in the picture that this rant is stemming from. Kind of strange, isn't it? Almost like it's a total non sequitur or something.
What? No way. Young Turks would never do that. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a great point. And also, what's amazing is that it didn't even occur to Ryan that he would get criticism for posting this, right?
Yeah. Maybe because he doesn't think about race 24/7 and probably thought this would just be an innocent and fun little snap with all the people who work hard for him, and perhaps this was a way to show his appreciation. You never know. You don't know. You can't. You weren't there. He put it up because he didn't see the race aspect of it, which means he's probably not a racist. The only people who are bringing this up as a race issue are you race-baiting pieces of shit.
Like, it's the most normal thing in the world because he's so far deep in that bubble.
Yeah, and you're totally not in a bubble while, you sit around with your yes men in your permanently sealed echo chamber. And what bubble? Like, you don't even know the context behind any of this. You can't craft something based on just one Instagram photo. You're basing your entire argument over something that doesn't show the full picture, no pun intended. You are making up a narrative. Did you even contact anyone of the interns at all? Anyone from any of those people? To perhaps get, another perspective or to get some context behind it? What am I talking about? It's Young Turks video. They won't dare to go over and ask for another perspective. Yucky.
Yeah. But it's like, everyone's what's the big deal?
Sentence, please.
Anna Banana would like to hear Venus by Bananarama. Banana.
You know something, Anna Banana? I bet you didn't even consider that you might get criticized for posting this video. Because you're so far deep in that bubble. Like it's the most normal thing in the world to care about skin color so much, and to become outraged at every single melanin deficiency you come across. But it's not normal. Some of us actually have real shit to worry about, like jobs, bills, insurance payments, the economy, global climate change, terrorism, mass shootings, police brutality, thermonuclear war. Real fucking shit!
Yeah, but Ape, white people are enjoying themselves. White people are having fun with a photo. White people exist, and that has to fucking stop. Making up narratives where they don't exist unless you have proof of it is much more important than anything you've just said.
So excuse the fuck out of me if most people, myself included, can't be bothered to give a flying fuck about the skin color of some douchebag politician's intern staff.
Let me just finish real quick. I'm so sorry, John, and then I'll shut up. And at a time when the Democratic Party, while tightening its relationship with the Congressional Black Caucus and having not a permanently tight relationship with them, but while increasing its connection to establishment elected black officials, has unquestionably started, we would disagree on the extent, but we all agree that the Democratic Party has not stood up for working Americans, for poorer Americans in the way that the Democratic Party of my fathers did. That there was an opportunity, especially for people who'd be interned, for young blacks who aren't as beholden to 59-year-old guys in the Congressional Black Caucus who might think, hey, why am I supposed to just be a Democrat? I get, but they can't help it. There's nowhere else to turn. I mean, they could be independent, but they can't go to an openly racist party. And it's given Democrats a pass to continue a rightward shift and a more corporatist shift because they don't have to work hard to keep an entire segment of the population, because going to the Republicans is so offensive and so incredible that they'll never do it.
What? I'm sorry, I fell asleep listening to Ben Mankiewicz rambling. Did I miss anything, Otter?
Oh, you know, something KKK, something Republican Party, something racist, virtue signaling. Republican Party doesn't care about minorities, even though the black vote is considered very important in elections, so I'd imagine they would care. Soft bigotry of expectations, black people just can't do it. Republican Party is openly racist, even though they have black people and the minorities in the party. And in before the, oh, that's just a black friend and so therefore not racist card. And because if these people were part of an openly racist party, then there would literally be no black people or minorities there. They would not allow them in. You didn't really miss that much, Abe.
Didn't think so. Anyway, I guess that's the end of the video.
Ugh, thank fuck.
I would like to thank Otterface for joining me on this collaboration and for being so patient with me as I worked out the kinks with my writing process and my busy schedule away from YouTube.
Wait, you have a life outside of YouTube? Fuck.
Say your goodbyes to the primates and plug your social media, Otter.
If you don't subscribe to my channel and don't follow my Twitter, you will all die.
Anyway, as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. If you didn't, you can give it a thumbs down. But if you do that, the Ape Alliance and the Ottoman Empire will look for you. We will find you. And we will kill you. Of course, you can tell us what you think in the comments. Please check out Otterface's channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the both of us, and we'll show you mercy when we take over the planet.
Wait, you think you're gonna live when I take over the world?
Oh, I will survive. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter, Sea Lion Club, Minds.com, and most importantly, you can support me on Patreon. Yes, I am a shameless, self-promoting, e-begging shill who hopes to one day get enough money from you fine viewers to do this full time. But until then, I'll catch you next time. Stay great, apes.
You are surrounded by your privilege. Because you're a fucking white man. White? Ew! Take your privilege somewhere else, please. White? Ew! Because you're...
I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, it's your desire. Well, I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, it's your desire.